The multiverse trembled. From the realm of the dark dimension, where time coils like a serpent, and the laws of nature are but whispers of illusion, Dormammu, the Dread One, sat upon his throne of infinite chaos. His form blazed with the fires of living magic, a fusion of matter and malevolence. No god dared enter his dominion uninvited. No mortal voice called his name without consequence. Dormammu was not merely a threat to reality, he was the perversion of it. But this time, he felt a ripple. Not from Earth, not from the Vishanti. No sorcerer had cast a challenge. This disturbance wasn't magical, it was cosmic. Across dimensions, from the depths of the fourth world, Darkseid stood on the scorched surface of Apokolips. Towering over all, carved in omega-shaped despair, he cast his piercing red gaze through the bleed, the space between realities. He had seen it, an anomaly that would jeopardize his conquest of the multiverse. Dormammu, in his quest for expansion, had begun merging weaker realms into the dark dimension, folding entire timelines into his domain. That was unacceptable. Darkseid did not share dominion. He sought the anti-life equation to reduce all will to obedience. Dormammu sought to devour the will entirely and recreate existence in his image. Both were absolute rulers, but the multiverse had room for only one. Thus began the whispers across planes, planets crying out as stars flickered and gods fell silent. Magic twisted unnaturally. Space bent in patterns unseen even by the guardians of Oa. The living tribunal watched cautiously. Realities began choosing sides, not out of loyalty but survival. In the hidden sanctum of Taj, the current Sorcerer Supreme consulted the Book of the Vishanti, only to find entire pages vanishing before their eyes. Galactus, sensing the gathering storm, adjusted his path away from the center of the looming convergence. Eternity wept stars from his silhouette. Mephisto retreated to the deepest levels of hell. Something terrible was about to happen. On a dying world near the edge of the multiversal fault line, Darkseid opened a massive rift into the dark dimension using stolen technology from the new gods and corrupted mysticism from Clarion the Witch Boy. He peered into the madness beyond, his voice calm and deliberate. Darkseid, Dormammu, you consume but I enslave. You will not devour what is mine by right. The air quaked, the skies twisted in colorless flame as Dormammu's visage, titanic and flaming, emerged through the rift like a cosmic eye. Dormammu, mortal godling, this is not your realm to dictate terms. Darkseid, this multiverse kneels before Darkseid. I offer you survival. Merge your essence with mine, or be erased. Dormammu laughed, a sound like 1,000 burning temples collapsing in reverse. His answer came not with words but a pulse of chaotic energy that burned the fabric of the rift, lashing outward. Darkseid blocked it with a simple gesture, the Omega effect surging from his eyes, cutting through the attack like a blade, and in that instant, a pact of war was made. Dormammu expanded the dark dimension like a cancer, corrupting fragments of time with fear and madness. He consumed the realm of Zur-Arctun, warped the Atlantean echoes of Earth 994, and pulled fragments of Asgard into himself. To strengthen his mystic arsenal, he bound the power of ancient demons, Kuthon, Shumagorath's fragments, and the shadow essence of the Nameless One. Darkseid responded in kind. He summoned the armies of Apokolips, parademons in the trillions, hounds of war bred from tortured souls, and machines fueled by the agony of conquered gods. He forced Darkseid to craft omega-fueled weapons that could bypass magic. Steppenwolf led assaults across vulnerable dimensions to secure staging grounds. But the most terrifying development came when Darkseid reactivated the anti-life seed, an embryonic fragment of the equation itself, meant to infect realities with absolute despair. Even Dormammu felt its influence begin to creep into his dimension. The war of corruption versus control had begun. The final battleground was predetermined by destiny itself, the Nexus of All Realities, a cosmic crossroads from which every universe could be accessed. Dormammu arrived first, his presence twisting the Nexus into a maelstrom of interdimensional fire and void. His eyes blazed, and he stood in humanoid form, towering and cloaked in swirling flames. Darkseid emerged moments later, walking calmly through a portal of burning crimson light, flanked by parademon generals. He held no weapons. He was the weapon. Darkseid, you will fall, and in falling your power will become mine. Dormammu, you speak of power as if it were a thing to hold. I am power. You are nothing but a rock carved into arrogance. They stood, titans of two philosophies. Dormammu, avatar of chaos, fed by fear and mysticism. Darkseid, god of tyranny, obsessed with order and submission, both immune to death in the traditional sense, both powered by eternal forces, both prepared to unmake entire realities for a single victory. Above them, the multiverse wept. Universes trembled like leaves caught in a vortex. The Watchers observed. The Celestials held their judgment. No one interfered, because this was not a war they could stop. It was a reckoning. The Nexus of All Realities screamed as Dormammu and Darkseid stepped toward one another. The skies burned black, the ground beneath them, the fractured foundation of infinite realities trembled and split apart, each crack birthing flashes of different worlds, each moment teetering on annihilation. Dormammu struck first. With a guttural incantation, he raised his hands and unleashed a storm of dimensional fire. The flames weren't just hot, they erased existence where they touched, disintegrating reality itself. The attack engulfed Darkseid in a vortex of multiversal death, but from the inferno stepped Darkseid, unfazed. His Omega beams flared to life, zigzagging bolts of impossible precision. They tore through Dormammu's flame, struck the Dread One's chest, and sent ripples through his essence. Darkseid, your magic has limits, my will does not. Dormammu roared, transforming into a massive demonic form, his face a sun of living flame. He summoned tendrils of chaos, each the size of moons, lashing toward Darkseid. They wrapped around him, seeking to unravel his atomic structure, to banish him to timeless voids. Darkseid didn't flinch. He spoke the anti-life equation, not the full formula, but a potent fragment. Loneliness is strength, hope is obedience, life is pain, and pain is me. For a moment, the chaos around him trembled. Parts of his form began to crackle and decay. Darkseid marched forward, the Omega symbol burning beneath his feet with each step. Dormammu snarled and erupted with fury. He fused time loops, forced the Nexus into an endless rewind, trapping Darkseid in a repeating moment of disintegration. But Darkseid learned. Every loop made him stronger. He analyzed the pattern, broke the spell with sheer will, and shattered the time loop like glass. He pointed and fired his Omega effect again, this time at the Nexus itself. Reality shuddered. Dormammu's flames flickered. The Omega beams lanced through the Nexus, disrupting Dormammu's connection to the dark dimension. Without it, Dormammu's power began to thin. He launched a final monstrous spell, a universe-sized maw of darkness to consume Darkseid whole. Darkseid allowed himself to be swallowed. Silence. Then from the heart of Dormammu's conjured void, two crimson beams tore outward, unleashing an Omega blast so concentrated it ripped Dormammu from the inside. He staggered, form crumbling, fire fading. Dormammu gasping, "You cannot kill chaos, Darkseid, but I can enslave it." Darkseid seized Dormammu by the essence, and with the force that bent reality, crushed his flaming form into a compact cube of raw magical entropy, then absorbed it into the anti-life seed. Dormammu was not dead. He couldn't die, but he was contained, broken, his essence now bound to a greater will. Darkseid stood at the center of the Nexus, alone, victorious. The multiverse bowed. Darkseid had defeated Dormammu, not with power, but with purpose, and now every reality would learn to kneel.